are we with this concept of like, can we vote our way out of the situation we're in? Is it too far gone? You know, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no matter who you're voting for, you have to vote. Don't
Right.
stay at home.
I agree with that.
I don't, even though I don't like the mail-in ballots, but at least
Right.
you have that. You have the possibility to vote early,
Yeah, there's lots of options to vote, is what you're
and
saying.
then you have the
like,
possibility to vote on that same day.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for you to not vote.
Yeah, it's
Just do
funny. Like I was in DC for 12 years before I was abroad, and I hated politics. I don't know how I spent 12 years in DC. I vowed never to be involved in politics. And I was successful at that. I didn't care. I didn't vote. I voted for the first time in 2020. I'd never voted before.
Yeah.
I felt that I always saw myself as a libertarian. I was like, just leave me alone. I don't care. I don't care what anyone is doing. Just leave me alone. And when I came back and saw kind of what was happening in the United States, I got more interested and active in all of this, in politics and stuff. And one of the most alarming things that I've learned is how few people normally vote. It's like less than 20%. So we end
They think
up...
that the vote doesn't matter. But
Exactly. But if 90% of people voted, we could like bring back common sense.
it should be like a 90% turnout, not
Right.
a 60 or whatever it is. Like super
Right.
low.
And then we might actually be able to, I don't know, bring common sense back, honestly. But yeah, I think apathy and the fact that your vote doesn't matter is really a tool of tyranny, where they want you disaffected so that you don't bother to vote, so that they can just
So
kind of
they
do
can
whatever they
rig it.
want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do we do?
Vote.
Vote.
Yes.
Vote in November. Vote.
Vote
And
smart.
it's not just a matter of like, it's not only what's happening at the top, right? Like during COVID, we saw what was happening in your local community really affected your life, and like things were sort of dictated largely by the governments or the governors of like state by state, right? So there's a lot of resistance from DeSantis here in Florida, and so you have, not only is there a presidential election, but you have the down ballot. Like you got to vote for the people who are closer to you as well. Like
the representatives, they're the ones that
Right.
push a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And one thing that I think maybe people don't realize or think about, like I think when I was younger and I was thinking like, oh, I don't care, leave me alone. There's really, there's disillusion in that, in the fact that like, you are not going to be left alone. There are rules that we have to live by, and you're a member of your community. You are bound by like the laws of the country where you're a citizen, where you're residing. And if you choose not to vote, then you're going to end up bound by the rules and laws of the craziest people who are voting for the craziest people.
Yeah, definitely.
So you are going to be, like, you might not want to be involved in politics, but politics is involved in you.
Oh, yes.
Period.
So all these laws that they create, they affect
Right.
you.
Right.
And it comes back to you. There's going to be something that you won't like, or that it's going to directly affect you.
Like, nobody's perfect.
Nobody.
Well, you're saying something's going to affect you if you
So-
don't, whether you vote or not.
By not voting,
Right.
especially. Not casting your vote. They're going to make some stupid law that it's going to affect you. That, I mean.
It is. It's true. So, do you have any hope? Do you have any hope for the 2024 election in the United States? Or have we reached a point where we can't vote our way out of the situation we're in? You said to me once, we talked about this once, I think, and you said, like, it doesn't all happen in one election year. Like, there's a lot of debate about the 2020 election. and
Yes.
there's like some numbers that don't add up. There's these bellwether states and things like that. And so some people think that there were some things that were rigged and it was not maybe like super fair. And I think regardless of what you think about that, we can all agree on the fact that we want it to be fair in 2024.
Yeah. And my problem with I have a big problem with mail-in ballots.
Yeah. Did they do that in Venezuela?
No, they don't do that.
No mail-in ballots.
But they have the stupid machines that, I mean, the
Are they Dominion voting
the
machines?
voting, you should be able to vote
Yeah.
at a machine. So
Yeah.
let's say if it's a machine, it should be manual.
Right.
Should
So
be
they
manual
have
counting,
a record, like
so they can have a record, and nobody
Right.
can. The record's there,
right.
and the
Didn't-
people that are at the polling stations which is the citizens.
Yeah.
Should be the ones, protecting those records.
Protecting it, counting it.
And there should be people from both sides
Right.
at those polling
Which can
stations.
only happen if people are involved.
Exactly.
Isn't that what they did in Argentina? They had
I think they did. They did
the
manual
paper
count.
ballots, manual accounts.
And that's what impresses me too. For example, I think it was in Colombia.
Yeah.
They do. They did a manual ballots, and the results were in like at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And you have these computers
Right.
doing the counting, and then this lady comes out at 2 a.m.
right.
saying that Nicolas Maduro won. So,
Oh, wait. You're talking about Venezuela? I thought you were talking about 2020.
they did, but they
In the
also
United
did in the
States.
United States. So that last one, right?
Right.
They were a few states that they still didn't have They
Right.
know who won.
Right.
So it kind of there you go. It's
But
kinda
you
resembling
saw that
Venezuela.
happen in Venezuela.
In
So
Colombia
this is a pattern.
happened too. Like
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. The manual counts, they were
Right.
there like by 6 p.m. They knew who won.
Right. Which is how it used to be.
It should be it should probably be
Yeah.
a machine. So you vote.
Yeah.
I'm a software engineer, so that's the way I think. You vote, and you should be able to go to a website. You're not going to see your vote casted there. Oh, this guy voted for this guy. But you should be able to see those counts live.
Right.
And
like,
if you're voting at 9 in the morning, and you can see the little charts there. Oh, this
Yeah.
guy's winning, this other guy's winning. By 3 p.m., you'll see the numbers change or whatever. And you should be able to see this thing live on some website.
mm-hmm.
So it's fair.
Right.
You shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have been counting mail-in ballots for 2 weeks.
3 weeks later. Yeah. Yeah. With all the technology that we have, it's really absurd that things have gotten like more out of control, more chaotic. You know, it takes longer to sort out what has happened. I think
It should be in person too. You gotta have proof of who's voting.
Right.
Just like when you go to a bank and you deposit or withdraw money, that person's there. He's seeing who you are and you get your ID or whatever.
Yeah.
This person is a citizen. So there you go.
Yeah,
vote.
you need an ID for
Not
like everything
a piece
that
of
you
paper, a
do.
mail-in ballot that some lady went and put
Right.
2,000 ballots down a USPS hatch.
Right. I've heard somebody, I don't know, one of the like alternative medias that I listen to, whatever that even means these days, but somebody was talking recently about how you have the idea of like politics, and so you have the idea of politics, and then you have the idea of, forget exactly like what it's called, but the political structure. So it's not necessarily a matter of like, it's not always just winning people over and making more people like you, but it's also a matter of like making sure that the voting processes are in place and are constitutional. And I think that one side does that a lot better than the other side, unfortunately. It's like the political structures. If there was any will to actually change all of this and do it like free and fair and open, it'd be very easy to do. I
When
mean,
there's a will, there's
there's a way. Like
Yeah.
we
Just
could
like,
write the code.
I like to give the example of Bukele
Yeah.
in El Salvador. When there's a will, there's a way. This guy got rid of all these gangs in like
Right.
a split second.
So what do you think about that actually? So there's like mixed reviews, mixed thoughts on some people say that that was oppressive or tyrannical or, like.
Oppressive that the people that are killing you in the streets that have no human rights or
Right.
they're in jail without whatever, or they're being forced to work or.
Right. I to those people, I would say, like, okay, go live in El Salvador and we'll let them all out. And then you let us know what you think should happen. Yeah.
The will, like, they can easily close the border over here.
Here in the
a split
US.
second. Yes.
Absolutely.
But there's no will
Right.
because there's probably an agenda behind it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm an immigrant,
Right.
but I do see the problem of this mass immigration.
Yeah. You came here legally.
Yes.
And actually we work with, like, most of
We have
the guys
lot
we're
of
working
immigrants.
with are
Yeah,
immigrants.
yes.
I would say I'm actually in the minority at ByteFederal, having been born in the United States. And that, to me, is something really special. It's something, it's one of the reasons, quite frankly, that I was excited about us doing this podcast, because we have all these really valuable conversations in the office with all of this insight from people who have already lived through the things that are happening now in the United States. And you might not want to listen to me running my mouth, comparing things to China, but you really better should be listening to people who have already fled communism and are trying to raise red flags about what's happening here in the United States.
So you've heard Bitcoin is the new gold rush by now. As world leaders on all sides have endorsed it as the future of money, and now you're looking to get started, we'll show you how. It's actually easier than you think. First, go to your nearest ByteFederal ATM and turn your cash to coin. ByteFederal has over 1,200 locations around the country with the highest daily limits. Go to our website, ByteFederal.com, to find the nearest ATM to you. Log in to any wallet, then create an account, deposit your US cash, and instantly convert it to Bitcoin. That's it. We are the only US manufacturer and operator in the Bitcoin ATM industry, and our US-based live customer service is second to none. Go on, give it a whirl, and don't get left behind. Click the link below.